So the video you're about to watch was me working on the 2016 Scout last night. I forgot to record what I was doing. I just started doing it and recorded. So I started by taking off the exhaust yesterday, the heat shields, and I was just basically looking for rusty stuff that I haven't already ordered so I could get it all ordered. This was a copart bike that was listed as flood damage, so there has been a lot of rust. Nothing too bad yet until you'll see in this video. I actually found my first thing that was not great. Let's put it that way. Thanks for watching. Exhaust off. You can see a bunch of corrosion right there. Also got the heat shields off. You can see a lot of corrosion up under them, although that's pretty normal because those connectors are kind of crappy. But this is the exhaust that I just took off. And that's the OEM exhaust I'm going to be putting back on. I got that from someone who took it off their bike. And this over here, this is the heat shields that came off. You can see where the bike fell over. It wasn't bad, but these are the new ones. They're not actually new. I got them off eBay. Someone didn't want them on their bike. So again, got it for a deal. So I need to remove this bolt in order to drop the radiator. But in order to get to it, I have to remove both sides. So, move the rear brake. Get that one in there. There we go. Not too bad. So I'm not leaving the rear brake hanging. Got a pronghorn. If you've never seen these before, pretty cool. I got them from Giant Loop down in Oregon. They slide through. And then you can tie off like that. They're really, really stretchy. Use them to tie down loads while you're going off-road, stuff like that. Super handy. This. Come up here. Put these back so I don't forget where they go. Let's see if I was right. 10, yay. There we go. Now it should drop out. Yep. So that's the retaining bracket for the radiator. Now the radiator is just being held by its hoses. They have a weird cooling bracket design here. So this is the oil filter, and this is a weird ring, it's a cooling ring. That fluid comes from the bottom of the radiator, comes into here, and then recirculates back out the top. So it's basically running around the oil filter. From what I can find, this was only in the 2015 and 2016 models. The 2017 later, they got rid of this ring, probably because it does nothing for cooling. Like, I mean, from a thermodynamic standpoint, I cannot imagine this is has enough flow through it to actually reduce the oil temperature at all. I mean, you're way better off just leaving it all in the radiator, because this is like a lot of complicated extra parts here for nothing. So just interesting that they went that way and then they decided not to later. So hopefully this will come off easily and not spray radiator fluid all over me. I'm hoping. Because it's pointed right at me. Making me a little nervous. Interesting. Ah, there we go. And there's all your Mountain Dew. Kidding, don't drink that. Up here is where the radiator cap goes. You can see now it's empty. This line runs back to the reservoir. So when it gets really hot and the fluid expands, it goes down that way. And when it's cold, it'll actually suck the fluid back up. So you have to make sure there's no air in this system all the way up to here. So that basically it flows down. Now, when I did this on the other bike, it was a pain in the butt because you have to burp it up here to get it through. There is a little burp valve right here. But it was also possible to get so much fluid in here that I ended up overflowing the overflow, which made a huge mess. But the best way to do this is apparently with a vacuum. But you still have to be able to get enough fluid in this down to the reservoir tank. So I actually don't think I'm going to be able to get that part out of there. So this will probably be as far as I go. On the left side of the bike, rear cylinder, this right here is the overflow. And actually I don't think I have any fluid in there. So I might actually have got lucky. But it says right here is full when cold. On the other bike I had it all the way up to here. So don't do that. That was a mistake. So almost everywhere on the bike, you see how that's all corroded. This is what I keep finding down low. Basically any bolts that are down here or below, I'm pretty much gonna have to replace because they're all corroded. Which, it's not bad. So this is either a good or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. The starter is back in there. Okay, it's like right back in there. I'm not sure if you can really see, but in order to replace the starter, you have to pull the radiator. As long as I have the radiator down, and this model year is notorious for the starters being incredibly weak, I figured I might as well go ahead and replace it. So I have disconnected the battery, have the positive and the negative disconnected, and I am actually following the service manual. I actually did buy the manual, and I'm going through the process. So as long as I'm here, I might as well do it. And I found a heavy duty starter on Indian Only Parts, I think is where it was. Doing my hose inspection, I pinched this hose. I'm not sure if you can see. There's a cut. That's not what you want to see in a hose. So I'm gonna have to replace that hose. Here's another little pro tip for you. When the hose really doesn't want to move, grab a heat gun. Get it warmed up. These things are designed to operate up at temperatures. So put a heat gun on it for a little bit, it'll become pliable. It'll come off much easier. And I only noticed that rip because I was taking off that hose clamp so I could get to the starter. See? I don't know. Doesn't bother me. This is why I was doing all this, to find things. I'm glad I found it now rather than, on the side of the road somewhere. That's not what you want to see. Rust up in there. So now I am definitely going to be pulling the radiator off and running vinegar through it and everything to see if I can salvage it. I am planning to replace that one hose, as long as I have it taken apart. And I'm also planning on replacing the clutch here. The clutch cord actually runs right inside where the radiator goes. So it's actually much easier to do it if you have the radiator pulled. That's what I'm going to keep telling myself. This was all for good reason. Got a lot of room on the hoses up here. Oh yeah, there's a fan behind here. It has a connector, and if I remember right, the O2 sensor. Of cord, yep, runs right through there as well. So I gotta cut those cable ties. There we go. Just these two little rubber boots at the top. Okay. Dang, another one. Ta-da! One radiator removed. This is the starter. So it's getting kind of late tonight and I gotta go to work tomorrow. So I will start tackling that tomorrow. So according to this, it's supposed to be 2.8 quarts in there, and I actually took out about 2.2 quarts. So that means it was actually really low on fluid as well. So good to know. Whew. So that was a fun-filled evening on the Scout. It's a 2016 Scout. Fortunately, I just did a lot of this with the 2018 Scout that's in the back there, the black one. So I'm already familiar with how to take the radiator out and everything. Rust in the radiator, so I'm gonna run some vinegar through it, let it sit overnight, and then I'll flush it out tomorrow and we'll see where we go from there. Thanks for following me on my journey here for this Copart Scout. It's fun. I'm having fun, and that's literally why I bought it, is to have fun. So wherever you are, I hope you're having fun too. Have a good day. Bye.